In QuickBooks Online, there are two forms that you can use to record sales, the invoice and the sales receipt. And that begs the question, what's the difference? In this video, we're going to talk about when we would use each form, and we're also going to look at an example in QuickBooks Online so that you can see how both are recorded. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. The difference between the invoice and the sales receipt is pretty simple. If you complete a sale of a product or a service, but you make the payment due at a later date, you're going to use the invoice to record the sale. And later, you're going to have to record a separate transaction for when you receive the payment from the customer. However, if you make the payment due upon completion of the sale, as in payment is due immediately, then you're going to use the sales receipt, because with the sales receipt, you're documenting the sale and the payment at the same time. Let's look at an example so we can see how this works in QuickBooks Online. On April 1st, the company completed awesome services for the customer Jay Walker. We charge $1,000 for the service due within 10 days of completion of services as per our terms. On April 11, Mr. Walker pays us in full with a check, reference number 123. On April 13, the company completed services for the customer Sandy Beach. This was one of our more minor services, so we charged $200 for the services due upon completion over the counter. She pays us cash. Let's start with the April 1st transaction. This is the day that we completed services for Mr. Walker, but payment isn't due for another 10 days. In this case, we're going to use the invoice to record the sale. So here we go. We're going to come to New, Invoice. We're going to select Jay Walker as the customer, and invoice date is going to be 4-1. In terms, we're going to select net 10 because the payment is due in 10 days. And notice that when I select net 10, it updates the due date. In products and services, I actually previously set up a service. And if you guys want me to do a video on setting up products and services, let me know in the comments below. And in the description, whatever we want to put. So we're going to delete quantity and rate because we already know the amount. It's 1,000. Alternatively, you could put 1,000 in the rate and 1 in the quantity, but since the company is charging a flat fee for the service, I'm not going to bother. Save and close. Fast forward to April 11 when we received the payment from Mr. Walker. We've already recorded the sale, so now we need to separately record the payment in QuickBooks Online using Receive Payment. Let's go to New, Receive Payment, and our customer is going to be Jay Walker. And the payment date is 4-11. The payment method was check because he paid us with check 123. And the reference number is going to be 789. Just kidding, I just wanted to see if you're paying attention. 123. And deposit to, we're going to put this into undeposited funds because we're not depositing yet, we're just collecting the payment. If you notice that when we typed up his name, that his outstanding invoice popped up automatically. So we're going to select that and just make sure that the payment is the correct amount and save and close. In this April 13 transaction, the payment is due at the same time as service is completed. So we're going to use the sales receipt in this case to record the services and the payment. Let's go to New. And this time we're going to select sales receipt. Now, how we record a sales receipt is very similar to how we record an invoice, except for two differences. One, there are no credit terms, and two, we're also recording the payment on the same form. So we're going to come up here to customer, Sandy Beach, and the sales receipt date, oh, it's already there at 4/13, and cash. We're going to deposit to undeposited funds because, again, we're not depositing, we're just collecting. And the rest is exactly the same, guys. We're going to select the service. We're going to put a description. We're going to delete all of this stuff that we don't need and type in the amount of our services, 200, save and close. Okay guys, so we looked at recording the sale using a sales receipt or an invoice. We looked at recording the receipt of a payment from a customer. So in the next video, we're going to look at recording the deposit of those payments. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for updates on the latest. See you later.